The next step in making these newels were the caps. If you cramp the frame to something upright, you can actually use this portable bandsaw like a normal one. I don't think it's officially recommended by the manufacturer, but it does work pretty well. Once I did the first cuts, I couldn't actually place the template directly onto the face of the wood, so I did a bit of freehand and hoped that it would match up later. So I thought these cuts went particularly well. It's definitely harder than it looks on camera, and an easy mistake here would have ruined all the hard work I'd already put into the post. With the stressful part done, it was onto the finer, more fiddly details. I'd actually made a mistake way back when and cut this middle post too short, which meant there wasn't enough length to make the cap like we had for the smaller post. Instead, I'd have to make the cap separately and then glue it on top. But in fact, that turned out quite nicely, as I wouldn't have to worry about messing up the whole post when cutting those curves freehand. I did, however, have to cut 3 rows of shoulders with the router. Because this post isn't square, I had to be very cautious when routing the shoulders, and going slow makes them vulnerable to burn. However, I managed to scrape most of this off with a very sharp chisel. With the posts finished, next up was the 3-meter long handrail. And with nothing like that available in the barn, we had to go shopping for seasoned oak slabs long enough and wide enough to get 3 handrails as well as their corresponding base rails which go on top of the stringers. This thick one is going to be the handrail, like this, and the thinner one is going to go on top of the stringer, and it's going to be rebaited for the spindles. And this one's quite good, nice and straight. This one, on the other hand, is not. And bows have not been kind to us on this staircase. So we're going to take our time, go slowly, and make sure that we don't do anything that will sabotage us later on. As with most of the staircase, we tried to keep as close to the original as possible, which was a rather chunky beast. It ended up being 80mm square or 3 1/8. This is the base rail to go onto the stringers, and you can see we had to offset the rebate to one side for reasons that would take far too long to explain, but stemming from an earlier oversight. I'd like to think that if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not learning. Finally, I had to cut the tenons to go into each post, and after a long day, mistakes get even easier. If you're thinking that cut looks a little deep, you're right. Somehow I'd bumped the saw out of the right depth and didn't realize until 3 cuts in. After a quick patch, that marked the end of all the major joinery for the first flight. Draw boring tenons for seasoned oak joinery should be done with less of an offset than green oak. The wood's a lot less malleable and far more brittle. However, it's still the best way to pull tight a mortising tenon. The pegs we actually used were probably oversized for this joint, and the holes should have been closer to the shoulder, but that's just how it is sometimes. With all that done, it was time for installation.
Right, that's it. Cracking. That's come off, isn't it?
No, it's on the sharp one. Editing this, I realised I should have gone in a lot further with this peg. It definitely pulled the joint tight, judging by that glue squeeze. However, I'm interested as to what would happen now the glue's dried if I tried to knock it in further. Would it make the joint stronger, or would it reduce the strength by cracking the glue? For the tenon in the middle post, I didn't want the uneven floorboards to throw out of plumb, so I put wedges under all the high spots before driving in the peg itself.
Yeah, that pulled that down tight.
It's a real shame you're not able to actually touch this, because the post had a weird feeling of like a tall tree trunk, completely, utterly solid. This is about as modern as it's going to get on the staircase. Floorboards laminated with these special joints at the end that just click into each other, supposedly. A lot of people were wondering if we were going to put undergarments on this top flight, and we settled on these machined oak veneer floorboards. And in a rare case of pre-sight, before we installed the flight, I'd routed out a rebate on the stringers for the boards to sit into. By midway, I'd got the technique down, a combination of snap and hammer, and after I remembered I had a tool belt specifically designed for tasks such as this, progress was rapid. You may have noticed that the chop saw was plugged into a battery during that, rather than the wall socket which isn't yet connected to the mains. It ran all day off Jackery's Explorer 2000 Pro, a 2100 watt-hour battery that weighs just under 20 kilograms, so portable enough for a couple of hundred meters. It can be charged cheaply via mains overnight or via their portable solar panels.
Quarter-past-4 on the 16th of November, and that is pretty good. That is very good.
All of the features have clearly been thought through and nicely designed, so if you're in the market for a home backup system or need electricity in odd places, do take a look at their Black Friday deals. All the links are down below. And I'm glad to announce there's only one more part to come on this never-ending staircase series. I've still got to go back to France to film it and then edit it. You know how long these things take, but keep an eye out, it will definitely come out before Christmas.